у вас уточнить, вы работаете в HILTI с 93-го года?
Да, точно, с сентября.
Хорошо. У вас уточнить, вы работаете в HILTI с 93-го года?
Трансляция
началась. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are glad that you joined us today to participate in the webinar on the topic Transforming Organizational Structure and HRM. Today, you will learn how pandemic influenced companies from an HR perspective and what we should expect in the future from HR departments. We are glad to introduce you our speaker, Zuzanna. Zuzanna is the Vice President of HR in HILTI, responsible for the HR operations of the Eastern Europe region. She has been working at HILTI since 1993, and she is uniquely positioned to tell you about HRM practices of the company and how pandemic changed HR processes. The structure of the webinar will be the following. Zuzanna will start with the presentation, and you can ask your questions in the chat on YouTube. After the presentation, I will ask your questions to Zuzanna. Additionally, we are kindly ask you to be polite and respectful in your questions. Thank you. And without further ado, I'm inviting Zuzanna to start the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Nikita. Good afternoon, good evening, whoever is watching us or listening to us. My name is Zuzana Jurakova, as already Nikita said, and I'm a HR business partner, for the region, which we call Eastern Europe, which is covering basically 10 countries, 8 market organizations, starting from the Czech Republic on the west, and basically, finishing with the Kazakhstan on a southeast part of our region. And I'm super happy, to be with you, here for this 1 hour, roughly, when we should be discussing a little bit, how the current situation, especially now with the COVID crisis, and in Russia mainly as well, the economic crisis, which was a consequence of the COVID, how it is influencing the organizational structure and basically the HR or human resources management. I prepared the presentation, the short one. I will now try to somehow share with you. I think, I'm not in the right one. Just give me a sec. Okay, I hope this will work now. Hope you can see.
Yeah.
And hear. Very good.
And
okay, but I hear myself, so I don't know whether it's an echo. Good, yeah. Very good. No, let's try it. Okay. So basically, this is a little bit about the HILTI. I still hear my echo.
Yes, I hear echo too. Alexei, is everything all right?
Okay. No, there is. I don't know what it could be. Can you try to mute everybody?
Yeah, I think everyone is muted, but I asked Alexei to check the problem.
Or should I try to go to Teams once again?
Oh, I don't know. Alexei is not answering. Okay, and do you hear me right now? Like,
yes, I hear you, but I hear myself.
And can you check now? I will mute myself.
Okay. Good. Look, I still hear myself.
Okay, we need just a minute. Alisa Sergeyevna says that everything works okay.
All right, let's try. So I will continue in spite of the fact that I'm hearing myself, but hope this will not be disturbing for all of you.
Yeah, I hear you clearly, so you can like lower your volume a little bit and won't disturb you. So
okay, good, very good. So let's go forward, because I hope we are waiting for what I'm going to show you. So first, I would like to tell you a little bit about the HILTI. What is HILTI? What kind of company it is? We are the company which has more than 75 years history. We started in 1941 in Principality of Liechtenstein, and until now we have a headquarter located there. And you see, we had 75 years, more than 75 years, full of innovations and development, mainly on the tools side, but we are very much in the different parts of not just only tools, but as well fastening and protection products, which we are producing for the construction industry. When we look, on where we are located in the all over the world, basically you see, all the red color is covering the countries where we have our own representative offices. And then basically, as well, in many plants, across the world. The white spots are those, where we do not have our own representative offices, but we are as well, somehow covering the business there through the official dealers. When we are talking about really, this broad range of our products, you see, that we are basically covering quite a lot of from the construction industry, starting with the drilling and demolition, which is most probably the famous or the most famous part of our product range, because everyone knows these red tools, which are the combi hammers or basically breakers, very much used on almost every site. But we are very much involved as well in the engineering, measuring, fastening, and installation, and as well currently we have a lot, which is connected with the services and softwares. HILTI is not known just only because of the fantastic quality of its products. It's very much known as well about the design of the products, and that product or the design of the product is not just only like for kind of nice view, but as well this is very much focusing on customer experience with our products. For the design, we already got many awards. 6 Red Dot Design Awards, best of the best, And there we are, together in a family with many fantastic and great companies like Apple, BMW, and so on. HILTI is known very much supporting and helping everything what is connected with the big project. Okay, and here you see a few of those examples where we have been participating as a company. For example, we have been helping to save visa cover for the next generation with our anchoring systems. We have been supporting very much this big job site which was connecting Denmark and Sweden. Öresund bridge, which is on one side, a tunnel, on the other side, it's a bridge. By the way, I was that time with HILTI in Denmark when this big job site was on. We have been very much participating as well on this Petronas Twin Towers, or as well Moscow City, which is now in the skyline of Moscow. And you see, Burj Khalifa, which is basically the highest tower or the highest building, standing alone building in the world. There we've been as well, very much participating through our UAE. Every company has a certain strategy, and that's the same for HILTI. We call our strategy Champion 2020. This is the year which is basically the milestone for our strategy. Because we are working in the construction business, you see the visualization of our strategy is very much through the building or through the construction. And you see, that our strategy is like a building which has a foundation in our culture, which is a caring and performance-oriented culture, and the roof of the building is basically represented through our purpose. And the purpose is to passionately create and to serve customers and build a better future. So these are the two parts of our key principles in the business. One is being the best partner for our customers, and the other one is being the best citizen in the societies or in the countries where we are present. Our strategy is sustainable value creation through leadership and differentiation, and that's basically supported by the four pillars, key pillars, which says, we want to be differentiated through the products and services. We want to keep a direct customer relationship. We are focusing on operational excellence, and at the same time, we want to have a high-performing global team. And if we are talking about this culture, I think that HILTI has a unique culture. For that, a few of well-known practices for the corporate culture, and that culture is based on four corporate values, which are integrity, courage, teamwork, commitment. And most probably, some of you, when you look at the picture, you see, this compass, because we really take our values, something, what gives us the direction, or always help us to be on the way to this what we call North Star. And if you look on those values, some of them are quite, let's say, common for many big organizations. There is one definitely which might be a little bit different from the others, and that's that courage piece, or courage as a value. Because what we want to have in the company is very much that we have a courage to go beyond the circle of the habits, beyond known, so out of the box, and as well, to have a courage to speak up our ideas and our opinions, because that's what we really leads into the better decisions and into the better future. So that was a little bit about the company. And now let's go into the topic which we are supposed to discuss today. COVID-19, right? This small ball, which the picture you see on the left side, it's even not visible by the eye, or even we have a hard time to see it by microscope. But actually, it turned the world upside down. And the same way it was for us in the company, because for us, it was really something, what we did not expect, and because of our business model, which we have, it was really, a difficult situation to somehow adapt, especially into the situations when we had complete lockdowns in the cities like, for example, Moscow. Yeah, and why it was so? Because we have seen one of our key pillars in the strategy is, that we want to have a direct relationship to our customers. And the direct relationship is built based on the direct sales, which is our approach to our customers. So majority of our people are somehow connected with our customers physically, so face to face. And of course, with the lockdown and all these restrictions which came, with COVID-19, the direct sales was very much challenged. The other topic was that we have a teamwork as one of the values. And we believe that we can achieve the good results in the company only when this teamwork is really effective. Teamwork until the COVID-19 was very much seen as something, what should be happening face to face or physically. And suddenly there was a challenge of no possibility to meet physically, and doing a lot of things, simply virtually or using the technologies which the modern era can give us. So collaboration has been moved, into digital space instead of the physical space which we have been used to. We saw, that the remote work suddenly become, from the, or moved from the benefit, to the standard setup or standard work setup. And I remember, that we had a lot of discussions 5 years ago when we were starting with what we call the time flexible work arrangement. The remote work was a part of it. And we saw it, very much as a benefit those days. Now, since April or since March, it became basically standard setup for us how to work. We immediately froze hiring because we understood, that we do not understand, how the situation will basically develop. And we understood, that all those plans which we had at the beginning of the year, which were very positive and which have been, very much looking into, especially hiring of these direct sales people, that it will be challenged through that situation which we had to face. And then, as well, what we have seen very much now that the classic talent development and performance management didn't work or does not work anymore in the shape that it did before. Because again, very much the classic talent development and performance management was based on the, let's say, face-to-face control or face-to-face observation and all this stuff, which was not that easy, basically, to perform the same way during the COVID time. So besides, all these challenges which the COVID-19 brought with itself, I think, there was as well, the other side of the coin, and that was, that the COVID-19 taught us as well on a lot of very good lessons. Okay, and those lessons have been some of these. Like we learned, how to accept remote work as a standard. And as I already said, that 5 years ago when we were discussing this flexible work arrangement, I know many of my colleagues from the top management who have been not very open or very much welcoming this remote work, because there was still this stereotype of like how we will control whether people are working or not working. And suddenly, COVID brought us that situation when we had to simply accept and learn by doing, how we can really, see whether the remote work is effective or not. What we used during that period of time was, utilize full potential of online learning. And we have been quite well prepared already before the COVID, but the COVID challenge again, gave us a lot of stuff, which was very much about the online learning. And online learning, we take into consideration not just only e-learning, we take into consideration as well the social learning, everything what basically goes beyond the classroom or physical training. We learned, how to be the best partner, to our customers or to our customers, to our partners, through effectively combining physical and digital touch. You have seen that we are very much based on the physical touch with our customers with this direct sales approach, but we understood, that, or we learned, how to basically, combine this physical, even sometimes replace the physical one with a digital approach or this digital touch or connection with our customers, because our representatives, they've been locked down as well. So we have been very much using our HILTI online resource for connecting with our customers. And as well, this hiring freeze gave us a little bit more time to think on the concept about talent acquisition. Because once you are in a volume recruiting, it's very difficult to somehow look beyond the operational frame. The COVID-19 gave us this possibility to basically, go away from operational or from this mass or volume recruiting and thinking about what is our employer value proposition going forward. Okay, how we can affect or what we can offer to the masses out there on the market, on the labor market. And we basically learned how to deploy more technology for any kind of company process, including the HR. And I will show you a little bit more later on. So when we are talking about these two key topics, HRM and org structure. Org structure is very much impacted by the COVID, right? Because as I said, many companies, and HILTI is in that group. We had to review the way how we do our business. And what is really essential for the time when our customers are as well locked down in many cases, so they cannot operate on a job site. But how to be prepared as well, once the situation will get to the what we call new normal. So what we did, we really reviewed the org structure which we had in the company, and what we did, is actually we took a long-term view, because we believe, that the COVID or that short period of time in which we've been that time is going to influence significantly the future or the way how we are going to work in the future. So we set our priorities. We said, what are those battles which we need to win? And one of those battles, which we understood, we have to win is, for example, we are changing the strategy in our sales approach. And we said, this is something what we consider to be this battle to win. We as well understood, that we need to, go much more into this what we call job outcomes. Okay, because the remote work is the key essential or super critical that you understand, what each job needs to deliver. Okay, it's not about the job descriptions, classical job descriptions, which basically talk very much about what are the activities which you have to do in your job. A job outcome for us is basically a combination of the activities, results which we need to see from the job, but as well critical and essential behaviors in the job which are important for the success in the job. We basically look very much on synergies, and we have not been reviewing our org structure just only through the silos of the different functions. So we look how many synergies we might have, for example, between marketing and finance, between marketing or product marketing and basically digital. How many synergies we have between the strategic marketing and digital, for example, or as well the finance or the HR. So we look on the company really from the top or bigger picture point of view, rather than just reviewing the structures in the different functions. We as well make sure that our ERP system, HRM and CRM systems are basically either already on the level of a very modern state, or basically we have been working hard to bring them to that state. We as well created this powerful coalition, okay, not just only between or among top management, but it was very much taken on board many middle managers of the company to basically explain them why we are doing what we are doing, and then through them and as well through the top management communication, communicate. That's the key that people need to understand. Sorry. People need to understand why we are doing what we are doing and how we are going to do it. And then of course, there was as well the need to develop the principles which will guide us basically on the way forward, because it was not just only exercise because of the crisis connected with the COVID, it was an exercise which we wanted to use or utilize for the future. These are the few of those examples which we already somehow engaged ourselves. And you see, that we understood, that maybe, after the COVID crisis, the work in the construction industry will be very much moving, more to the job sites, and we see that already now. So it's moving from the offices to the job sites, and therefore, we have been already prepared with what we call perfect demo van. And so maybe you can see, we switched, from the small cars, into these vans, because we believe these vans can provide them much bigger insight into what we can offer to our customers. What we can offer to our customers basically on a job site, and the full portfolio of our product. The other stuff, which we have here is actually this new approach, which we want to have in ourselves. So we are moving from what we call transactional sales into the consultative selling, which we want to have supported by the best-in-class CRM, which is a Salesforce. So we are right now engaged into this or in the implementation phase for both new CRM and as well this change management for our sales approach. We have as well very much utilizing the resource of the HILTI Online to communicate with our customers, let's say, improving the possibility of the search on our website and so on, to give basically our customers that kind of ease of doing business with us, which they experienced before the COVID, when our territory salesmen have been with them. We as well did a lot of stuff, which was on the marketing and engineering side with our customers through our webinars. So we used, especially this period of time of April, May, to run a lot of webinars for the specific, very expert-driven topics where we're inviting our customer community or our engineering community. On the HR side, it was more on the business side. On the HR side, we basically, since the beginning of the year, started to implement new approach, which we call moments. Okay, with the 4 key principles, which are frequent conversation, taking action now, ownership, and strengths. And that very much helped us going through the COVID crisis, in spite of the fact that many of us or many of you might think like, oh yeah, maybe the people development and so on is not the most critical topic during the COVID crisis. But we said like, for us, it's really something what we see like a Chinese sign has it in Chinese sign for the crisis is half of danger and half of the opportunities. So we said, like, we're lucky to start with this new approach beginning of this year, which was as well supported by state-of-art HRM system. Many of you most probably know it's a workday. So we just implemented or kicked off, started with the workday since the beginning of the March. And it helped very much during the COVID crisis, because this system brings a lot of transparency and basically immediate online access, which was very much used. We as well focus very much on this, what we call my contribution, especially through those having the job outcomes for basically every job. And as I already said, the job outcomes for us, this is not just only description of the activities which you need to do in a job, but it's very much definition of the results which we expect from the job, and as well these critical behaviors in the job. And as I have been stating already before, it was for us the time, to review our employer value proposition. So we have been working hard together with the global on what should be our EVP, and our EVP, we see now, like, be where your best belongs. So basically, we want to show ourselves, as a place, where you can utilize your strengths and where you can basically engage yourself into this sustainability thinking. When we talk about the human resources management, okay, I love to talk not just only about the HRM. For me, it's basically something what I call human resources leadership, okay? Because the human resources, this is not just only simply function in our company. That's something, what is very much connected with the business, okay? I told you even, that my job is called HR business partner. So you see, that we view basically human resources as a business partnering for our business. So that's why I would like to talk about the human resources leadership. And when we are talking about this leadership, we are talking very much about that for us, the employee engagement is an ultimate goal and was. And as well, that stayed the same during the COVID crisis. We said, that when we are talking about this human resource leadership and how we can support the business during this time, we said, that for us, it's very important to define what jobs are essential to keep in the company, and what are those, let's say, jobs or maybe activities which we can, better outsource and use basically, some partners, which most probably are more competent in those activities more than we are. We need to be, very clear, or we had to be, very clear about what we are hiring for. Okay? And it was very much changing the, let's say, the point of view or the mindset, because we are hiring more for the role rather than the fulfillment of the certain task. And I read somewhere the article which said, like, COVID changed significantly what we need to do in our roles or in our jobs, because it's enlarging significantly the responsibilities which we need to take. So it's not only about the single task which we need to do, but it's more like, what's the impact of my role on the overall organization? We said, that learning needs to replace training. And I know, especially in Russia, this is the training is still very much valued. And I'm talking about training as something, what is very much connected with the classroom. But then learning is much broader, because you can utilize, many resources which are out there in the world, not just only created by your company. And the way, how you can put these learning resources together in a very effective way, this is for me a part of this human resources leadership. We had to as well review our reward system. okay, because the reward system had to be somehow reflect or had to reflect the new reality. And we have been very much, or more focusing on the team and participation remuneration, because we understood, that it's not anymore just only about the individual results or individual outcomes, individual contribution. It's very much about that we are all on the one boat, and that boat, it's called either HILTI or it's called, I don't know, area sales manager team one or area sales manager team two. So it's very much about, how we can complement each other as a team, with our individual contribution to bring it, to the company contribution. We as well look, that on the development, and we understood, and that's one of our principles through that approach to people, which we call moment. You have seen that ownership. So we said as well clearly, and we stand behind that. The ownership of development is moving now from the employer to the employee. We want, people to be in the driving seat, for their development, and we want, them to be deciding how much they are willing to invest into their development, because it's as well, very much connected with everything else what they do in their life. And of course, last but not least, we engaged, or we started to work on this, what we call smart working to zero, where we would like to basically go into the effective combination of on-site and off-site work, because we understand that this is the future of the work, which we are going to be engaged into. And this is the last slide, which I want to show you. Basically, when we are talking about the organizational structure and HRM or HRL, as I put it myself, I think, all this is based on needs to be based on the corporate culture. And HILTI is, or I'm working in a company, which, and I'm super lucky, most probably, because HILTI always had a very strong corporate culture. And that culture, as I already showed you, this is a caring and performance-oriented culture. And we understood that, especially in the, let's say, this difficult crisis time, it's for us, super important to be more concrete about what do we mean by this culture, what do we mean by those four core values, which I already showed you. And that's why, what we did is basically we translate these four core values into what we call HILTI value behaviors. And this is something like a guidance for our employees, as well for those who are outside on the market looking for the employer, for the job, for the work. What is to show them or to tell them what is super important for us, and in what kind of behaviors we want to see translated this importance or these values. That's why, you see, now on the screen, what we call these multi-value behaviors, which is as well very much helping in basically putting all this stuff together, like a new reality, new org structure, new responsibilities eventually, which you get, and how you can make, the very nice package of working for the company you can be proud of. And as well, in the same way, feeling very much engaged yourself into the things, which this company is doing and delivering. So that's basically, something what I wanted to share with you. A little bit, from the theory, and as well, a lot from the practical examples which we have been engaged at the HILTI over the last 4 months. And now I stopped sharing my presentation, and I hope to basically get your questions. Yes. Questions. Yes.
Thank you, Susanna. It was very interesting and enlightening. And yeah, we have several questions for you. So one of our participants asks that you said about frozen hiring, that you're not hiring right now. And how do you think halted hiring will impact the future of the company in terms of talent pool? So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for that question. It's very interesting and important question, right? Especially when I can imagine that the audience which we have now is very much consisting of the students or the soon-to-be graduates, which are looking for the job. We did not completely freeze the hiring, okay? And we just only simply froze that hiring, which was for us the volume hiring, because we understood that with the change of the organizational structure, there might be different as well needs for the hiring, or there might be different profiles eventually which we need to hire. But we are still looking for the bright people who would like to join our company. And as an example of that is that we did not cancel a program which is a global trainee program. Maybe some of you know the name of the program. We call it Outperformer, and it's actually aiming especially for these fresh graduates who we would like to get on board or to the company and prepare them for the future leadership positions starting in this 2 years program. And just next week, we decided to run this assessment center in spite of the fact that we would need to run it as a hybrid a solution. So it's a face-to-face and as well online, because we feel like this is one of those things which we do not want to freeze or we do not want to cancel, because we want to get on board these talented young people. So we believe that this freeze of the hiring will be very much just connected with let's say recent situation, which might stay until the end of 2020, and then we would like to see what we are going to do in terms of hiring, but again based on the new reality or the new situation.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your answer. Also, the second question, I think you touched upon it, but I mean, will HILTI change its HR targets in terms of people who HILTI wants to hire and skills that HILTI seeks? For instance, I mean, does HILTI want to hire more digital specialists or people who know a lot about digital sphere after the pandemic? I mean.
I think definitely all this situation will be influencing quite a lot the profiling which we have for different jobs. I showed you basically now that we are very much engaged now into this move from the transactional selling into the consultative selling, which is very much influencing as well the profile of those representatives whom we are going to hire in the future. I think that digital is a hot topic nowadays, and of course we want to be very much involved in the digital, but we would like to have not just only this super narrow specialist for the digital. It's more about the people who can help us to understand how the digital would eventually fit into our business model. Because I personally believe that for the digital experts or the digital specialists, you can still outsource something like that outside of your company, because there are many great companies, especially in Russia, who are dealing with this digital stuff. For us inside of the company, it's very important to have people who understand how our business is ticking, and then combining that with whatever is there outside of the HILTI available in terms of technologies, in terms of concepts, which are very much connected with this digitalization, the whole digitalization. So yes, certain extent it's going to change, but we are still, very much looking into this kind of balance between the understanding our business and then basically, applying all these new digital technologies.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And we have two more questions. The third one is what HILTI wants to do with the work from home situation. What it means that continue giving people an opportunity to stay at home or make it compulsory to work from office once more.
Yeah, I already touched the topic, with this smart working 2.0. So that's I can even call it like a project, a small project, which would like to be done somewhere towards the end of 2020. We started, we basically, we listen very much, to what our people tell us. And we understood, that experience which they had over the 3 months now, taught them as well a lot of lessons. And basically, they might see the things, differently as they have seen it before the COVID crisis. So we kicked off a small survey about, to learn about their experience, from this remote work during the crisis or during the lockdown. And what we learned, as a basics, from it, people would like to still, work from the office, but not that, like it's a must, 5 days a week, they would like to combine it very much, with the remote work. And I think, very feasible and very practical, because what we understand, we still need to somehow come together and be physically together, because as I said, collaboration, teamwork, for the HILTI is super important. As one of the corporate values, plus, we understand that our business is simply, the only result of the teamwork. And for the exchange of the opinions, maybe, a little bit more like a creative work, this face-to-face connection is the best one. But there is as well a lot of stuff, which you can do, even more effectively and better if you are sitting somewhere where it's comfortable for you. And basically, can concentrate on the stuff, which you have to do, so that remote work, and I purposefully call it remote work, because it's not just only work from home, right? So we can find the places, which are the best for us anywhere. So basically, this combination of presence in the office and the remote work will be definitely for us the way to go in the future. Physical office, more for the collaboration, remote work, more for this individual contribution or individual work.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. And the last question is, does HILTI in any way control the performance of employees who work from home, for instance, through the use of some systems? Also, I heard about such systems and that some companies use them to track performance of employees, how they behave at work, because many people are distracted really easily at home. So does HILTI work with that, and how?
We do not use, any kind of systems, which are basically controlling the time which we spend behind the computer. Okay. If I can put it this way, because it really, when we're talking about the remote work, it's mainly, what we do, behind the computer. We do not use this one, and it as well, going back, to what I said, we already, I think it was 4 years or 3 years ago, we deliberately decided to go out of the job description into what we call job outcomes, because for us already at the time it was very important moving into this flexible work arrangement to understand, how we are going to basically measure the performance of those people. The performance for us is not measured by time, which we spent, behind the computer, or the time of the day, which you basically, spend for your what we call work. Okay, because that most probably, eventually will not give us the result, which we need. We need this concrete, tangible contribution, and that's why, we measure the performance of our people by delivering on on the concrete, basically, expectations or the concrete tasks, okay? But it's very much about the delivery, and that control is, if I can call it control, okay? Because for me, it's not completely like a control, but that control, is happening between the team leader and team member, because they have, this very frequent conversation about, what is expected and what is delivered. And if this is not working, then they have to find the effective solution, how to basically, how to take the other measurements, to help that person, to be more effective and maybe, that's involve some coaching and so on. But first of all, you look on the tangible outcome rather than really measurement of the time.
Yeah, thank you for your answers and your presentations. We don't have any further answers, but it was very interesting, and thank you very much for your presentation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you as well, very much, for the time and for your listening and patience, to listen to my presentation. It was a pleasure, as always, to be a part of this CEMS events and the meetings. I hope to see you next time, really face to face.
Yeah, we hope.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Yeah, have a good evening too. Yeah. Thank you.
All the best. Bye bye.
Bye bye.